Well, good morning everyone. Back out on the road again. It's something like 25 past ridiculous in the morning. 20 past 5, something like that. And there in the distance is Eastbourne. So you can see I've driven a fair amount of miles from home. And it's a Saturday morning, late May 2022. I'm a bit reluctant to come out on Saturdays because it's still quite busy, and here comes the car as we speak. Rather drowned out the sound of that pheasant over there, but the sun is just coming up behind me there, and I'm out again in search of places you didn't know. And I'm actually on the main road heading towards Battle, and I'm passing Ashburnham Place. Now, it's funny setup this, I'll tell you more about it later. This is now quite a well-known Christian conference centre, but unfortunately it's also where there is the parish church, as you'll see from the signpost. The church, the Orangery Tea Room, and there is only access when the gates are open and the estate is open. Unfortunately, at this time of the morning, it's not. Whether I'll ever get the chance to come back and film, I don't know. But just thought I'd stop on the main road and show you where the main gates are. I do know one or two people that have used the Orangery Tea Room and they say it's very nice, so if you ever want to come out and visit, this is where you want to be. And with that, and the introduction over, it's time I went looking for these secret places around here. Like I said, Saturday morning a bit risky, but I had to come and film this. I'm at one of those places you didn't know. There's no street sign, no village sign, but this area is known as Stephen's Crouch, and you could easily drive by on the main road and miss some of these lovely chocolate box houses. And look at that one there with its wishing well in the garden. There really is no other time of day when I could safely get any film of this at all. And as usual, never rely on animals. I just pulled up, was about to get out the car, had a deer walked across the road. Never got the camera in your hand when you see these things, have you? Here's a dawn chorus. And just listen to the rustling. You can hear the rustle of leaves as the plants begin to open up for the day. A cow parsley here. And then as I walk a little bit further, can you hear that? There's a tick tick sound. But with the sun rising behind it, I'm not going to get too close. Look, there's another one of these lovely chocolate box cover houses, thatch roof. Isn't that beautiful? And when you roar along the road from Eastbourne to Battle, do you really take any notice of it? You don't get the chance, do you? So I've taken notice of it for you. And I found what is obviously one of the top gates to the Ashburnham estate. And particularly interesting is the little statuettes on the top there. Of the deer. Is it a deer? No, it's not a deer, is it? Look. That's most definitely a hunting dog. And what's on the other one? I don't get any closer because there's people around. Have we got another hunting dog there? Yes, we have. Oh, interesting. I thought they would have been deer. Now that's very interesting indeed. So again, many years ago, when this was forest, this was obviously a hunting forest. I wanted to get closer to this house, but going a bit further I just noticed there was a light on the upstairs window, so I dursn't. But this is one of the last, this is the last of the older places up here in Stephen's Crouch. See that one there with the post box in the wall? An old barn of some kind. And that is Stephen's Crouch. Now let's go and see what else I can find for you this morning. Look at him, strolling along like the lord of the manor. Probably thinking to himself, where's all the talent gone? Nope, that's not one. Don't worry, mate. I can't eat fowl of any kind, so he's perfectly safe from me. Anyway, I've come down into the depths here. We've dropped down into the valley, and I'm on my way to what some people would say is probably the loneliest place in Sussex, Penhurst. But I'm crossing over, or have crossed over, just walking back to the bridge now. There's so much foliage I can't really get to it, but I'm hoping that if I just pan down through there, come to one side, I've lost it, there, try and get it back into focus a bit, there we are. Now that is the Ashbourne. You see, even for a little stream, that's quite fast flowing. Now, excuse me, this flows into Waller's Haven, which I've spoken about before on my video of the morning in the marsh, where the products of the Sussex iron industry, and this is the word, iron, were taken out to Pevensey and then sent onwards out to sea. Now it's hard to imagine this one little waterway as it is now, but do you imagine it being wider, more fast flowing? And this was one of the waterways that fed the great Ashburnham iron furnace and the forge, which was the last of the great ironworks, the last of the Sussex ironworks that closed way back in the early 1800s. Now my granddad worked for the Beach Estate, and before he retired he worked in their forestry section, and he always used to tell me about the remains of Penhurst docks. Now they were supposed to be up in this area somewhere. I've not been able to find any information at all about the docks, but when you consider that the only other way of getting products out would be by ox cart, it does make sense that there would be some kind of waterway that would be able to take some of the products out, particularly the cannon that were made towards the end of the 17th century, or 18th century should say rather. So yes, it would seem that you could get a reasonable sized boat up here. You wouldn't think so now, would you? No trace of it. Grandad did apparently ask permission to take me down into the deep woodlands and show me where these remains were supposed to be. Unfortunately that wasn't granted, so I don't have any evidence to back up that other than anecdotal, and if anybody knows anything at all about Penhurst docks, please do tell me. And with that I'll move on to Penhurst itself. Now Penhurst is so remote that there's only basically a church, the manor house and a couple of farmhouses, and yet there's only this and Ashburnham of all these settlements round here that were mentioned in the Domesday Book. 2 settlements mentioned here. I'm going to have to get going in a minute because these geese do not like me one little bit. Although they've settled down a bit now, fortunately. But I want to show you this house because here's one that's obviously under some renovation. And if I bring the camera back into focus, like the stupid boy I was doing the other way, there you are. Obviously renovation work going on, but what a lovely house, eh? This is what rural Sussex is all about. This is the real Sussex. You still find it in a few places, and Penhurst is one of them. And if you go online and you search your search engine for Penhurst, almost certain it will come up and say, do you mean Penshurst, with an S in the middle, which is a totally different place altogether. Well, the old manor house here, and I think this is one of the old barns from it, is now a Christian retreat. And I think that was the old manor house that I was actually looking at just now. There on this one we have the old stables, Penhurst, yep. You see those, I've now been told that those signs on the windows, the S's particularly, they're strengthening metal rods to keep the building together. I was always given to understand that they were things that were put up there to ward off evil spirits. Now the problem for me, I wanted to visit the parish church, and there are Commonwealth war graves here. I think we can get in, but the church is under renovation. This is really quite something. I've no idea how old it is, but I have done a little bit of research, and from what I can find They've got a rather interesting way of heating this church. They have something to do with an old corn heating machine that is put in there in the winter that blows hot air across the congregation. It's a interesting thing. I'll try and find a note to put up later. I'm going around the side here because I'm looking. Yeah. No, this has got some age to it, hasn't it? What are we looking at here? 14th century maybe. The earliest parts are indeed 14th century, and they're Grade 1 listed. This is the Church of St Michael, only open from 10 in the morning unfortunately to have a look round, so I couldn't go in once again. I don't like the look of that scaffolding round the front. That corrugated iron stuff looks most unsightly, but I guess very necessary, because I should imagine, because of the church's age, there's a lot of very valuable artefacts in there, and it is a remarkable survivor in unrestored condition from its age. So yeah, I guess they want to keep people out as much as they can. That end is obviously a bit open down there. One hopes the work is finished as soon as possible and it starts looking nice again. There was above the gate outside a lamp which used to light the streets of Clarkham when in London. I don't know where that's gone, but that's not there now. And it was indeed a corn dryer used to blast the hot air across the congregation. Took a bit of ingenuity. Some 15th, some a little later. Difficult not to arouse suspicion. I'm looking for a particular grave here, and I'm told it's at the rear of the church. Whether I will find it or not, I don't know. But obviously I can't go in because it's under renovation. But there are some stained glass windows here. And I've just taken out a still and reversed it round so you can read what they say. That look rather nice, and you can see where the renovation has been done at this end. Very nice indeed, very nice. Now I was told it was at the rear, but I honestly can't see it, and quite frankly I would expect it to look a bit oops, cut through here and have a look. I might as well take you all the way around the church while I'm here. That's lovely wooden door, windows. Oh, it's a shame. Shame I couldn't seem to find it, but there are certainly some graves in here, that's sure, of an age. It's funny how you have a church like this in the middle of nowhere, and yet there are war graves here. And look at them, I'm going to stand back for this. This has obviously got work to be done on it, but isn't that lovely? Isn't that lovely? All around you have the sound of the world waking up. That's not what I'm looking for. Oh well. Anyhow, shame I couldn't find it, but you can't have everything in this life. What I also couldn't find, unfortunately, was any graves. That might be one there. Ironstone, iron. There's a little village sign that's down here. I think that's the old manor house in there, which is now part of the Penhurst Centre. But here's one of these village signs, look, showing quite clearly the connection with the iron industry. And there's an inscription. The Doomsday Book. Two villains with two plows. That's the entry in the Doomsday Book. And this, folks, is history. But unfortunately, I couldn't find what I came really looking for. And you remember, or many of you will remember, a certain actor whose one of his well-known sayings was, "You dirty old man." Yes, Harold Steptoe is buried in Penhurst Church yard. And I honestly couldn't find his grave. I was expecting something quite modern-ish, although I was back in 1982, I must admit. But I failed to find it. But this is where Harry H. Corbett is buried, along, I think, with his second wife. And better known to most people as Harold Steptoe. And married to an actress called Sheila Stiefel originally. Yeah, that's another name from the past, isn't it? But anyway, deepest, darkest, rural Sussex. The place that everybody might have seen the name of. And when you say Penhurst, they go, Penhurst? Oh, Penshurst, do you mean up there? No, I don't mean up there. I mean down here. And that's it. That is Penhurst.